Hello, my friends. I wanted to take a little time here to talk to you a bit about my upcoming talk on the 15th of May here at Transition Talks in Berkeley Springs. Many years ago, probably 25 years ago now, it became clear to me that my purpose in life was to help facilitate the transition to a new world. And through a whole bunch of interesting experiences, it became obvious that some really big thing was happening here that had never happened before. What I learned since then is that many, many different sources, be they ancient writings or religious texts, or from indigenous cultures, or even from channelings and off-world kind of sources, all suggest that there have been 5, maybe 6 different times in the past history of this planet when humans or the life has evolved to the place where they were close to being able to kind of move to the next stage, kind of off planet or become part of the cosmic neighborhood. And they all failed for one reason or another. Sometimes natural disasters, sometimes technology got out ahead of them and they were doing things they couldn't control and effectively control. It's a variety of things, but this time it appears to be different. This time it appears that there is a critical mass of humans who have gotten themselves to a high enough kind of level of awareness and perspective and kind of frequency that we are going to make it as a species into this new space, into this new world that we will help build. Now, when I say we, I don't mean everybody on the planet, because every one of these sources, and I'm telling you, there's lots of them, all say that there is a selection process, a kind of self-selection process, I believe, where everybody gets a chance to decide which side they're on here or which direction they want to go, and whether they want to be part of this kind of evolutionary group, which starts to see themselves in a different way and is willing to kind of cast off the past and all of the baggage that has been part of how we've all grown up and how society has wrapped itself around us. And the other larger group are those who really find it hard to change and are kind of encumbered by all the technology and the efforts of those who control the technology to essentially make that segment of humanity kind of subservient to them. And essentially that kind of track is about control. The other track is about freedom and evolution and rising to another level. Now, I don't know exactly what that other level is. The different sources all talk about it in different kind of ways. And they talk about third dimension and fourth dimension and fifth dimension, and that we're in the third dimension, and that whole process, right, allows us to rise to a higher dimension. I don't know exactly what that means. But what I do know is that it means that you cannot get there from here if you don't adjust and change and start to become the new human that is going to be part of the founders, the core group of this new world. And that's really quite a fascinating and extraordinary kind of issue and idea that I've been thinking about now for these 25 years. I sat down not too long ago and tried to kind of just roughly think about how many talks that I had given different places all around the world, and almost every continent on this planet, and groups, large, number of thousands of people, and lots of a whole lot smaller groups than that. And I don't know. It's probably 350 speeches that I've given different places. But I really believe that this talk on the 15th of May is got all the makings of being the most important talk that I've ever given. Because what it is the distillation. It will become the kind of the concentrated output from reading thousands of books and all kinds of experiences and other kind of things, all pointed toward trying to figure out who do we have to be and how do we prepare ourselves for this most massive and largest, most exciting kind of event in the history of the planet. It's nothing less than that. So we started this conversation in December when I spent, I don't know, almost 5 hours kind of laying the groundwork, the big kind of picture about how this is all kind of coming together and what are the different kind of forces in play and so on. And what we're going to do on the 15th of May is to try to focus that down specifically on how you can begin to see yourself in a different way and become aware more broadly. The operative kind of terms are expanded awareness and then personal transformation. I mean, you can't change yourself without seeing the world in a different way, but understanding how things work in a different way. I mean, you can get struck by lightning like Danny and Brinkley or something like that, and it drive you into another space. But for most of us, it's a combination of these two things: expanded awareness, and there's expanded awareness is going on all over the place. I mean, on one hand, you've got disclosure and moving very quickly to this whole process of engaging with extraterrestrial life and kind of becoming an active part of the larger kind of community in this part of the galaxy, or the solar system at least. And at the same time, there are amazing kind of new understandings about what's going on, so that you have some sense about what's happening on a day-to-day basis. There's some aspects of this about where this is going. There's some things about how you position yourself and how do you think about this and who are you, and that's all. There is issues about physically how you prepare yourself for all of this. I mean, it's a whole integrated kind of picture, and we're going to spend time talking about each one of those. And I hope give you the opportunity and the unusual opportunity, because I don't know if anyone else is talking about these kinds of things, give you the opportunity to really go away with something substantial and substantive about what you can do next and what's the essential aspect of who you have to be and where you have to be positioned in order to be able to prepare yourself to be able to surf into this new space. Now, I'm convinced that anybody can do this, that this is not only for people with certain income or certain education or went to a certain seminar or workshop or read certain books. No, almost by definition, this has to be accessible to anybody. Everybody isn't going to jump on this bandwagon for sure, but there are no external artificial constraints on anybody that to be able to find the space that will allow them to move and be into this new era and become part of the new human in this new world. And so it's as simple as that. And we're going to talk a good bit about that. Is that there's this very simple kind of notion about who you have to be and how you got to see yourself and you see the world. And then we're going to talk about then the practical aspects of then how you translate that into practical things on a day-to-day basis, and you translate the cognitive and the intellectual kind of information into physical kind of behavior and action. And so it's going to be a really good time. It's going to be very special. We have it at we hold it every almost every time at Cool Font Resort here in Berkeley Springs. We're located just 100 miles from Washington and Baltimore, so it's an easy little less than 2-hour drive out here. And it's a gorgeous, wonderful place in the mountains, our little resort town. And so it will be in person. If you are in the area and you want to come and be a part of this, we have a really great day. And afterwards, most of us go upstairs into the dining room and go to the bar and get a drink and sit. Have a special room that we have, and I don't know, we have 30, 40 people that all have dinner together, and we have a wonderful chance to chat and meet new friends and other kinds of things. So there's a social aspect of this in addition to the importance of the information that's involved. But if you can't make it personally, then we're live streaming this thing. And what that means is no matter where you are in the world, you can be a part of this. And it doesn't make any difference what time zone or whether you're available on Saturday the 15th or not, because we make it available for 2 weeks. And so you can lay in bed with your pajamas and watch it some night if that's what you'd like to do. And you can watch it multiple times. And so no matter who you are, where you are, and you can be a part of all of this. So I hope you'll do that, because I think this is if you have at all an interest in this whole transition to a new world, if you have at all an idea that you're supposed to be a part of all of this and there's a role to play, and that there's something really big going on that you want to be a part of, then this is a marvelous, wonderful place to go. I mean, we try to do that with all of our transition talks, with all of our speakers, but I don't know of anybody else that's talking about these kind of specific, kind of practical aspects. And I'd love a chance to meet you, particularly if you're able to come and be with us. And so you can get all the complete information about all of this at TransitionTalks.org. And you can see some of our upcoming speakers. We've got Greg Brayton coming in July, and Penny Kelly, a number of other kind of folks who we're talking to. But come and be with us either physically or virtually on the 15th of May. And we'll have a good time, I promise. And I promise that it'll be provocative, and that if you spend the time to think about some of these kinds of things, it's going to change your life. 15th of May, Transition Talks at TransitionTalks.org. So thank you.